My wife confessed that our 6-year-old daughter isn't mine after I accidentally saw a text message from her affair partner asking about his daughter, and now my entire world has imploded in the span of 48 hours. I've spent 6 years being a father, changing diapers, attending dance recitals, reading bedtime stories, being the person my daughter runs to when she's scared or sad, and it turns out I've been living a lie this entire time. My wife swears she didn't know for sure until recently when she did a secret DNA test behind my back, but I don't know if I believe her anymore because everything she's told me for the past 7 years has been contaminated by lies and deception. I'm sitting here at 3 a.m., unable to sleep while my daughter is asleep down the hall, and I don't know how to process the fact that the little girl I love more than anything in the world isn't biologically mine, and I might lose her in the divorce that's inevitably coming. This is going to be long and messy, but I need to get it all out because I feel like I'm going insane. The life I thought I had. My name is Alex, 34M, and my wife is Natalie, 33F. We've been together for 9 years, married for 8. We met at work. Both of us were account managers at a mid-sized marketing firm. We hit it off immediately, started dating after a few months of flirting, and got engaged after 2 years together. Our wedding was perfect. Big celebration with all our friends and family, honeymoon in Italy, everything you're supposed to do. We were happy, or at least I thought we were. We bought a house, we both got promotions, life was good. We decided to start trying for a baby about a year after the wedding. It took longer than we expected. 6 months, then a year, then 18 months. We saw a fertility specialist who said everything looked normal with both of us. Sometimes it just takes time. Natalie was getting stressed about it, tracking ovulation, taking supplements, doing everything by the book. I tried to stay positive and supportive. Then, finally, she got pregnant. I remember the day she told me. She'd taken 3 tests to be sure, and she showed me all 3 with tears streaming down her face. I picked her up and spun her around. We were going to be parents. After all that waiting and trying and hoping, it was finally happening. The pregnancy was relatively smooth. Normal morning sickness, normal checkups, everything progressing as it should. We found out we were having a girl at the 20-week ultrasound. We picked out the name Emma. We painted the nursery. We took birthing classes together. I was so excited I could barely contain it. Emma was born on a Tuesday morning after 14 hours of labor. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, with a full head of dark hair and blue eyes that would later turn brown. I cut the umbilical cord with shaking hands. I held her in the hospital while Natalie slept, just staring at this tiny, perfect human we'd created. I never felt love like that before. Instant, overwhelming, protective. The first year was hard like everyone says it is. Sleepless nights, constant feedings, figuring out what every different cry meant. But it was also incredible. First smile, first laugh, first time she rolled over, first tooth, first word, it was dada, and I cried. I was obsessed with being a father. I took videos of everything. I was that annoying parent who wouldn't shut up about their kid. As Emma got older, our bond only grew stronger. I was the fun parent. I'd build elaborate block towers with her just so she could knock them down. I'd chase her around the house, making monster noises. I'd read her favorite books over and over even though I had them memorized. When she started preschool and cried a drop-off, I was the one who figured out that if I gave her my watch to hold, she'd feel better knowing I was coming back for it. She's 6 now in 1st grade. She's smart and funny and kind. She loves dinosaurs and hates mushrooms. She's missing her 2 front teeth. She still asks me to check for monsters under her bed every night. She's my entire world. And apparently, she's not mine. The text message. 2 days ago, I was homesick with what I thought was food poisoning. Natalie had to go into the office for an important meeting, so Emma was at school, and I was alone in the house, trying not to throw up. Natalie had left her iPad on the kitchen counter. We share an Apple ID, so all our devices sync. Photos, messages, everything. Her iPad was unlocked, and a message notification popped up. I wouldn't normally look, but the preview caught my eye because it said, "Have you told him yet? He deserves to know about his daughter." My first thought was confusion. Told who what? Who deserves to know about Emma? I opened the messages. They were from a contact saved as Jake Work. The conversation went back months. As I scrolled through, my hands started shaking. Jake? I can't stop thinking about Emma. Does she look like me? Natalie, she has your eyes. I see you in her every day. Jake, this is torture. I should be in her life. Natalie, we talked about this. Alex is her father. He's been her father. I can't destroy that. Jake, but I'm her father. Biologically. That matters. Natalie, it's more complicated than biology. Jake, you got the test done, right? What did it say? Natalie, 99.7% match. You're her biological father. But Alex is her dad. I literally dropped the iPad. Then I picked it up and kept reading, going back further, piecing together the timeline. 7 years ago, Natalie and I had gone through a rough patch. We weren't fighting, but we were distant, both working long hours, not prioritizing our relationship. We talked about it, went to a few therapy sessions, worked through it, or so I thought. During that rough patch, Natalie had gotten close to Jake, a guy in her department. According to the messages, they'd had an affair that lasted about 3 months. She'd ended it when we started going to therapy, told him they couldn't continue, that she wanted to make her marriage work. 2 months after the affair ended, she got pregnant with Emma. The messages showed that Jake had suspected Emma might be his from the beginning. The timing lined up with their affair. But Natalie had insisted she was mine, that the affair had ended before she conceived. Jake had backed off, moved to a different apartment, tried to respect the boundary. But he'd never stopped wondering. And apparently, 6 months ago, Natalie had finally gotten a paternity test done. She'd taken a sample from Emma and from Jake. I don't even want to know how. Sent it to a lab and confirmed what Jake had suspected all along. Emma wasn't mine. She was his. And Natalie had known for 6 months and hadn't told me. I spent the day reading and rereading those messages, feeling like I was going to pass out. By the time Natalie got home at 6 p.m., I'd gone through anger, denial, more anger, grief, numbness, and back to anger. Emma ran to hug me when she came in. Natalie had picked her up from after-school care. Daddy, I made you a picture at school. It's you and me and a dinosaur. I hugged her so tight. That's amazing, sweetie. I love it. Can we play blocks before dinner? Not tonight, baby. Daddy's still not feeling great. Maybe tomorrow. She looked disappointed but nodded. Okay. Feel better, Daddy. Natalie took her upstairs to get changed. I waited in the kitchen, the iPad sitting on the counter like a bomb. When Natalie came back down, I just held it up. When were you going to tell me? Her face went white. Alex, when? After she graduates high school? On her wedding day? Were you ever going to tell me? Let me explain. Explain what? That you cheated on me 7 years ago? That you got pregnant during the affair? That our daughter, my daughter, isn't actually mine? Which part needs explaining, Natalie? She started crying. It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. You lied to me for 6 years. You let me think Emma was mine when you knew she might not be. I didn't know for sure. Not until recently. You knew enough. You knew there was a chance. And you said nothing. Emma called from upstairs. Mommy? Daddy? Why are you yelling? We both froze. Natalie went to the stairs. It's okay, sweetie. Mommy and Daddy are just talking about grown-up stuff. We'll be quiet. When she came back to the kitchen, her face was streaked with tears. Can we please talk about this calmly? 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 Natalie, you destroyed my entire life and you want me to be calm. You're her father, she said desperately. You are. DNA doesn't change that. You've raised her. You love her. She loves you. But she's not mine. And you knew. You've known for 6 months, and you said nothing. Were you ever going to tell me? I don't know. I was trying to figure out what to do. Jake was pushing me to tell you, but I knew it would destroy everything. It should destroy everything. What did you think would happen? That you just keep this secret forever? That I'd never find out? I thought about telling you. 1,000 times. But every time I imagined it, I saw your face, the way you'd look at her differently, the way you'd pull away from her. I couldn't do that to Emma. So you did to me instead? You let me keep being her father while knowing I'm not. You are her father, not biologically, which apparently matters since you went and got a fucking paternity test. We argued in harsh whispers for another hour. Natalie tried to explain. The affair had been a mistake, a symptom of our problems at the time, something she'd immediately regretted. She'd ended it before she knew she was pregnant. When she found out about Emma, She'd assumed the baby was mine because we'd still been having sex during that period, though less frequently. Jake had always suspected, but she'd shut him down, told him they were done, that Emma was mine, that he needed to move on. He had. He'd gotten married 2 years ago, had a kid of his own, but he'd never been able to let it go completely. He'd seen Emma once at a company picnic when she was 3. Natalie said he'd stared at her the whole time, said she had his eyes. After that, he'd started asking again about the paternity, saying he deserved to know. 6 months ago, Natalie had given in. She'd gotten the test done, and when it came back confirming Jake was the father, she'd panicked. She didn't know what to do. She'd told Jake the results, hoping it would give him closure, but instead he'd started pushing her to tell me the truth, saying I deserved to know, that he deserved to be in Emma's life. So what's the plan now? I asked. Jake gets to be her dad and I get. What? Weekends? Supervised visits? No. Alex, no. You're her father. We can figure this out. There's nothing to figure out. You cheated, you got pregnant, you lied to me for 6 years. There's no version of this where we just figure out and move on. Please, she sobbed. Please don't leave. Please don't leave her. She needs you. I need to leave. Right now. Before I say something I can't take back. I grabbed my keys and wallet and left. Drove to a hotel. Sat in the parking lot crying so hard I couldn't breathe. The first night, I stayed at that hotel for 2 nights. Natalie called and texted constantly. I ignored most of it, but finally read through her messages on the second day. She was apologetic, desperate, saying over and over that she loved me, that Emma loved me, that I was Emma's real father regardless of DNA. She said Jake didn't want to disrupt Emma's life, that he just wanted to know she existed and was okay. She said we could work through this, go to therapy, figure out a way forward. I also got a message from an unknown number. This is Jake. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I want you to know I never meant for any of this to happen. I didn't know Natalie was still with you when we were together. She told me you were separated. When I found out she was pregnant, she swore the baby was yours, and I believed her. I backed off. I tried to move on, but I've never been able to stop thinking about Emma. I'm not trying to take her away from you. You're the only father she's known. I just want to be part of her life somehow. Can we talk? I didn't respond. Instead, I called my brother Ryan, told him everything. He said I could stay with him and his wife for as long as I needed. He also gave me the name of a divorce attorney. Then I called my parents. That was harder. My mom cried. My dad said words I won't repeat about Natalie. They both asked about Emma. Was I sure? Could there be a mistake? There's no mistake, I said. Natalie confirmed it. The test was 99.7% certainty. But Alex, my mom said, that's your daughter. Test or no test. You've raised her. You love her. I know, but she's not mine, Mom. And I don't know if I can get past that. Don't make any decisions right now, she said. You're in shock. Give yourself time to process. I spent those 2 days crying, staring at photos of Emma on my phone, trying to see Jake in her features instead of me. The eyes that I thought were brown like mine, were they actually like his? The smile I'd always thought she got from her grandmother, was that for Jake's family? Every feature I'd claimed as proof of our connection was now suspect. I looked at a video from her 5th birthday party where she's opening presents and squealing with delight. In the video, you can hear my voice. What do you say, Emma? And she turns to me with that gap-toothed grin. Thank you, Daddy. And she runs over to hug me. I watched that video 50 times. And every time, my heart broke a little more. Going home. On the 3rd day, I went back to the house. Emma was at school. Natalie was home. She'd taken the week off work. She looked terrible. Clearly hadn't slept. Thank you for coming back, she said. I'm not back. I'm just here to talk about logistics. Okay. What do you want to know? Everything. From the beginning. No more lies. She told me the full story. She and Jake had worked closely together on a major project during our rough patch. They'd started having lunch together, then drinks after work. Then one night, after a particularly stressful deadline, they'd kissed in the parking garage. She said she knew it was wrong, but she felt disconnected from me at that time, and Jake made her feel seen. The affair had lasted 3 months. Physical and emotional. She said she'd felt guilty the whole time, but hadn't known how to stop. Then I'd asked her to go to couples therapy, and she'd realized she was about to lose her marriage. She'd ended things with Jake immediately, told him it was a mistake, that she loved me. Did you love him? I asked. I don't know. I thought I might have. But when it came down to choosing, I chose you. I chose us. And then you got pregnant. We'd started having sex again during therapy. We were working on reconnecting. When I found out I was pregnant, I was so happy because I thought it meant we'd turn a corner. I didn't even think about Jake. We were using protection during the affair, and the timing didn't line up exactly. I assumed the baby was yours. When did you start doubting? She was quiet for a long time. When Emma was born, she came out with this full head of dark hair, and I remember that Jake has dark hair. But then I told myself lots of babies have dark hair. And you were so happy, and you love her so much, and I thought, even if she is Jake's, she's ours. You're raising her. You're her father in every way that matters. But Jake suspected. He saw the pregnancy announcement on Facebook. Figured out the timing. He confronted me at work when Emma was a few months old. I told him the baby was yours, that we'd still been together during the time I conceived. He was skeptical, but he dropped it. Until the company picnic. Yeah, he saw her and said she looked like him. After that, he kept bringing it up every few months. Finally, I agreed to get the test done, thinking it would come back showing you were the father, and he'd finally leave it alone. But it didn't. No, it didn't. And I've been in hell ever since. Jake wants to know her. He wants to be part of her life. But how do I tell you? How do I tell Emma? How do I explain that the man she calls daddy isn't her biological father? You don't get to decide that, I said. You lost that right when you lied for 6 years. She started crying again. What are you going to do? I don't know. But I need space to figure it out. I'm staying with Ryan. When will you see Emma? She's been asking for you. She doesn't understand why you left. That gutted me. What did you tell her? That you're not feeling well. That you need some time to rest. She made you a get well card. I want to see her. But I need a few more days. Alex, please. She needs you. She's scared. I'm scared too. I'm terrified. Because I love that little girl more than anything in the world. And she's not mine, and I might lose her. You won't lose her, won't I? When we get divorced, what rights do I have? I'm not her biological father. What if Jake decides he wants custody? What if you decide I shouldn't be in her life anymore? I would never. You've been lying to me for 6 years. I don't know what you would or wouldn't do. I met with the divorce attorney, Linda, the next day. She was mid-50s, no nonsense, had been practicing family law for 25 years. I laid out the whole situation. She took notes, asked clarifying questions, and then sat back. This is complicated, she said. That's why I'm here. The issue is that you're listed on Emma's birth certificate as her father. You've acted as her father for 6 years. In the eyes of the law, you are her father, regardless of biology. So I have rights. You do. But it's not simple. If Jake decides he wants custody or visitation, he can petition for a paternity test and establish his biological relationship. Once that's done, he has rights too. Can he take her away from me? It's unlikely. Courts prioritize the child's best interests, and Emma has known you as her father her entire life. Disrupting their relationship would be harmful. But Jake could potentially get visitation rights, maybe even partial custody, depending on the circumstances. And if I divorce Natalie, you'd likely get shared custody as you're the presumed father on the birth certificate. But again, if Jake enters the picture legally, things get messy. What if I don't want custody? The words felt like glass coming out of my mouth. What if I can't handle raising a child who's not mine? Linda looked at me seriously. That's your choice. But you need to understand something. Emma doesn't know any of this. To her, you're her father. If you walk away, that will traumatize her. It may be traumatizing for you to stay, but it will definitely be traumatizing for her if you leave. So I'm trapped. I wouldn't call it trapped. But yes, you're in a difficult position. You have to decide what matters more, biology or the relationship you've built with your daughter. She's not my daughter. She's been your daughter for 6 years. That counts for something. I left her office feeling worse than when I went in. Seeing Emma. A week after finding out, I finally went to see Emma. I picked her up from school, just like I used to do twice a week before all this. She ran out of the building and launched herself at me. Daddy, you're back. Are you feeling better? I caught her and held her tight. Yes, sweetie, I'm feeling better. I missed you so much. Mommy said you had to rest, but I wanted to come see you. I missed you too, Emma Bean. We went to her favorite ice cream place. She got chocolate chip cookie dough like always. She told me about school. They've been learning about butterflies, and she'd made a friend named Sophia, and her teacher said she was very good at reading. I listened and smiled and nodded and felt like I was watching this from outside my body. This little girl with chocolate ice cream on her nose, chattering about her day. Was she really not mine? How could she not be mine? Daddy, are you okay? She asked suddenly. Yeah, why? You look sad. I'm not sad, baby. I'm just tired. Mommy looks sad too, and she's been crying a lot. Mommy and Daddy are going through some grown-up stuff right now. But it's not your fault, okay? None of this is your fault. Are you and Mommy getting divorced? My heart stopped. Why would you ask that? Because Sophia's parents got divorced, and now she has 2 houses. And you don't live at home anymore. I'm just staying with Uncle Ryan for a little while. But you're coming back, right? I didn't know how to answer that. I don't know yet, sweetie. Her eyes filled with tears. But you have to come back. You're my daddy. I pulled her into a hug. I love you so much, Emma. No matter what happens, I love you. Then why would you leave? It's complicated. That's what grown-ups always say when they don't want to tell the truth. She was right. But how do you tell a 6-year-old that her father isn't really her father? That her whole life is based on a lie? That the man who's tucked her in every night might not be able to keep doing that? You don't. You can't. So I took her home and read her favorite book and checked for monsters under her bed and kissed her forehead and left before I started crying. Jake contacted me again a few days later, asked if we could meet in person. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop. He was tall, dark hair, blue eyes that had turned brown, Emma's eyes. I could see her in him, or him in her. It made me sick. Thank you for meeting me, he said. I'm not doing this for you. I know. Can I tell you my side of this? Sure. Why not? He explained that he hadn't known Natalie was married when they started the affair. She'd told him she was separated. When he found out the truth, he'd been horrified and ended things immediately. Then she'd ended things too, said she was working on her marriage. When she told me she was pregnant, she swore it wasn't mine. Jake said, I believed her because I wanted to believe her. I was in a new relationship. I didn't want complications. But I always wondered. And now you know. Now I know. And Alex, I'm not trying to take her from you. I know you're her father in every way that matters. But she's also my daughter. And I can't just pretend she doesn't exist. What do you want? I want to know her. Not as her father. You're her father. But maybe as a family friend? Someone who's in her life in some capacity? My wife knows about this. We talked about it. She's supportive. How generous of her. I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But taking it out on me won't change anything. You slept with my wife. I slept with a woman who told me she was separated. If I'd known the truth, I never would have touched her. But you did. And here we are. We sat in silence for a few minutes. What's she like? Jake asked quietly. Emma. She's everything. She's smart and funny and kind. She loves dinosaurs. She's afraid of the dark, but she'll never admit it. She gives the best hugs. She's perfect. She looks like my mom. From the pictures Natalie sent me. Don't do that. Don't claim pieces of her. She's my daughter too, Alex. No, she's not. You're a sperm donor. That's all you are. I left before the conversation could continue. It's been 3 weeks now since I found out. 3 weeks of hell. 3 weeks of therapy, conversations with lawyers, sleepless nights, seeing Emma twice a week, and trying to act normal while my world falls apart. I've been trying to figure out what I want, what I can live with, what I owe to Emma versus what I owe to myself. Some days I think I can do this. I can divorce Natalie, get shared custody, keep being Emma's dad despite the biology. Lots of people raise kids who aren't biologically theirs. Adoptive parents, step-parents, foster parents. DNA doesn't make you a father. Love does. Other days, I can't stand the thought of it. Every time I look at Emma, I see Natalie's lie. I see Jake's genes. I see a constant reminder of betrayal. And I know it's not Emma's fault, but I don't know if I can separate her from the circumstances of her conception. My therapist says I'm grieving. Grieving the daughter I thought I had. Grieving the marriage I thought I had. Grieving the life I thought I was living. She says grief is a process, and I need to let myself feel it without making permanent decisions while I'm in crisis. But I have to make decisions. Emma needs stability. Natalie needs to know if I'm staying or going. Jake is waiting to see if he'll have a place in Emma's life. I can't stay in limbo forever. Well, I'm leaning toward. Here's where I am right now. Subject to change because everything feels unstable. I'm divorcing Natalie. That's non-negotiable. The trust is gone. I can't look at her without feeling betrayed. Even if I stay in Emma's life, I can't stay married to Natalie. I want to remain Emma's father. Not full custody. I don't think I can handle being her primary parent right now. But shared custody. I want to still be her dad, to be in her life, to be there for her. Jake can fuck off. He doesn't get to be part of her life just because he contributed DNA. Maybe when Emma's older, if she wants to know him, that's her choice. But right now, she has a father. She doesn't need another one, especially one who slept with her married mother. I will probably need years of therapy to process this, to be okay with raising a child who isn't biologically mine, to separate Emma, the person, from Emma, the product of an affair, to rebuild my own sense of identity as a father. I'm terrified I'll fail, that I'll look at her and feel resentment, that I'll pull away emotionally, that I'll damage her in ways I can't predict. But I'm more terrified of what happens if I walk away, of Emma asking why Daddy doesn't want her anymore, of becoming the kind of person who abandons a 6-year-old because of something that's not her fault. The conversation I need to have. At some point, Emma will need to know the truth. Not now, she's too young. But eventually, how do you tell your daughter that you're not her biological father? That she was conceived during an affair? That there's another man out there who's her real father? I don't know. But it's something Natalie and I will need to figure out. With therapists, with lawyers, with a lot of care and planning. And when that day comes, Emma will have questions. She'll want to know if I still love her, if I'm still her dad, if anything between us has changed. I hope I can answer those questions honestly. I hope I can say that yes, I still love her. That yes, I'm still her dad. That the only thing that's changed is my understanding of her origin, not my love for her. But I don't know if I'll be able to. And that uncertainty is killing me. To anyone going through this, if you're reading this and you're in a similar situation, whether you just found out your kid isn't yours, or you're the one who cheated, or you're the affair partner, I don't have advice. I don't have wisdom. I'm barely holding it together. But I will say this. Kids don't deserve to pay for their parents' mistakes. Emma didn't ask to be conceived during an affair. She didn't ask for a complicated paternity situation. She's just a 6-year-old who loves dinosaurs and hates mushrooms and wants her daddy to check for monsters under her bed. Whatever I decide, whatever happens next, I have to remember that. This isn't about me and my hurt feelings. It's not about Natalie and her guilt. It's not about Jake and his biological claim. It's about Emma and what's best for her. I just wish I knew what that was. Update, 2 months later. I moved back into the house. Natalie moved out. We're doing a nesting arrangement where Emma stays in the house and we rotate in and out, 1 week on, 1 week off. It's weird, but it's working for now. I'm still in therapy. Emma's now in therapy too. We told her a simplified version of what's happening. Mommy and Daddy are getting divorced, but we both love her very much. She's handling it better than I expected, though she has her moments. Jake has not met Emma. I've made it clear through lawyers that any contact will be on my terms and my timeline, which is currently never. He's not happy about it, but he's respecting it for now. Natalie and I can barely speak to each other. We communicate mostly through a co-parenting app. It's civil but cold. Emma still calls me Daddy. She still runs to me when I pick her up. She still wants me to check for monsters. And most days, I can do that without feeling the weight of everything else. Not all days, but most. I don't know if this is sustainable long-term. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. But I know I'm doing something which is better than the paralysis I felt those first few weeks. One day at a time. That's all I can manage right now. One day at a time.